Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be on one of the top PvP characters in the entire game that includes light and dark characters, and that is Alesia. So, this character, when she first came out, she was one of the first characters, I think it was one or two prior limited summons, right? They do this limited summon thing now where they introduce a new character here. That wasn't always the case, but she was one of the first few. I think it was two or three banners in where she was available. And at first, I thought that she wasn't very good, but I was summoning on the banner because I think there were other heroes also involved, but I ended up pulling her, and she has become a total monster. Just FYI, I don't know how many times I have thought a character was really bad, and then they've turned out to be absolutely amazing. So, in the future, if I'm reviewing a hero and I say they're bad, they're most likely awesome. So, take that with a grain of salt. Yeah. So, anyway, the reason I thought this character was bad is, and we'll talk about the trait in full here, but it says attacks cannot trigger critical strikes, so none of her attacks can crit. I thought this was bad, but actually, it's it's an amazing part of her trait. Like this is a strength, not a weakness, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first, like I always like to do, let's just go over her kit here. It says her trait says increases focused and damage dealt based on the difference between this hero's and the target's initial attack. So whenever it says initial attack, I'm almost certain it means at the start of the round, which means the total stats here, right, is 1500 and then 6000. That's her initial attack. I don't think it means this 1000, like her base attack. I think it says that because obviously you can increase people's attack with attack up or, light nicks boost to people's attack, and that will not apply to her trait. It's just whatever your attack is at the very start of the battle, it's going to compare it to the people that she's doing damage against, and then it scales that way. And then we've already talked about how none of her attacks can crit. And then it says every 2 attacks on the same target applies charm to the target for 1 turn. And charm, as you can see up here, it basically skips their turn. It's like sleep or freeze or anything like that, where it just goes right over their turn. They're also not able to deflect anything, so it'll always be a neutral or positive damage affliction. They can't resist anything or dodge when they're attacked. I will say, though, this charm ability can be resisted in general if her focus is not high enough. I've seen this resist a couple times. But while the person is charmed, then those things apply. So she's also a Sen 5, which, as I've mentioned in prior videos, this is kind of the norm nowadays, which is quite annoying. But if you are lucky enough to have her Sen 5, anytime she does 2 attacks and applies that charm on 1 target, she'll also get damage reduction on herself for 2 turns, which is pretty strong. She's a very fast, strong, and tanky champion, so it's a pretty deadly mix for a damage dealer. So her basic here is Soul Charm. It deals 165% damage to 1 enemy and applies random stats down, so that's okay. It's whatever. And then also it recovers 10% of her max health, so that's really nice. Anytime you have sustain on a character, especially a damage dealer who can be somewhat tanky, it's always a nice thing to have. She also has this passive, which, she doesn't even need this. Like, she's already good without this, and this just takes her over the top. It says when an enemy casts support abilities, it launches a counterattack with the special ability to counter 200% damage. It's like, Like, some people don't do this on their ultimate, but she's doing it on a passive, right? With the special ability to deal 200% damage and apply defense down 2 for 2 turns. And then she gains this big shield equal to 30% of her max health for 2 turns. This is only once per turn, the shield part, okay? It's not like Jonathan, where Jonathan, every time he takes an AoE, he just keeps reapplying a shield. If she gets attacked and then she counters again with this, she will not put up another shield. But whenever an enemy casts support abilities, she does this anytime they do it. It's like every single time that they cast a support ability. So just crazy passive, crazy passive. This passive can one-shot people. So it's pretty nuts. And then she has this ultimate ability that applies unhealable to one enemy for 2 turns and deals 220% damage. Also deals true damage equal to 10% of her max health. And then if the target's a wood enemy, it launches a bonus attack with this passive. So, yeah, pretty nuts. Against wood characters, she'll be attacking them twice, which will then allow her to apply charm on them automatically. So, really, really strong champion. That's her kit. We're going to talk about, what makes her really, really OP here in a little bit, and then we'll show her in arena as well. So these are her overall stats. Okay, I think this is pretty impressive stats. There are people out there that have even better, which, I really had to push for these. So I'm not quite sure how everyone else got higher than stuff like this, but they did. So because she can't crit, she just has extremely high attack, right? She does have some high defense and high health. This health is a little low. It'd be better if it was higher, like in the 25,000 range. But my gear just isn't good enough. And because you don't need to focus on crit rate or crit damage or focus or anything like that, you only need to worry about 2 stats, really, which is attack percentage and speed to let her go first. So going back to her trait not being able to crit, it just allows you so much room to prioritize just attack and speed, and that's what I did, and I was able to get some really nice stats like this. So here's the gear. Oh, by the way, she's in full Raider. I just want her going super, super fast, and I'll talk about why here in a second. So here are her weapons. So she has some nice attack rolls, some precision and speed on her weapon. Here she's got resistance, health, and attack. This can definitely be upgraded. More attack rolls and maybe better health rolls. Here, attack percentage that hasn't been rolled up yet. And again, I could probably get some better rolls here and maybe some health instead of the crit damage. These speed boots had decent attack. I really don't have great speed boots, but these were the best ones I had. She has an attack percentage ring with 13 speed, so not too bad. And then this piece is great. Attack percentage with 4 rolls into speed and 1 roll into the flat attack, so that was really nice. But yeah, that's kind of how I got her stats. Because Alesia is such a PvP monster, I decided to use 15 legendary books on her. I have not regretted it at all. She's probably, top 5 strongest champions in my roster, for sure. She's also one of those characters that they gave her this 15% and then 25% attack, so 40% attack boost, on her abilities. This tree is usually extremely weak, but 40% attack is nuts. She gets 15 speed on her first physique roll. And then this one, granting attack boost equal to 100% speed. This is usually a 200% boost or something, but for her, like you saw, it's 300, which is just huge. So anyway, that's kind of the build here. So a couple things I want to mention about the meta, right? I've shown it in a couple of my heroes, but it goes without saying here. Oh, perfect. Okay. So you know how her trait says that she can't trigger critical strikes? The thing is most of the meta, like when it comes to tank heroes, like even my Nero, they're built in these dragon scale gear, right? Which prioritizes taking less damage from critical strikes. But she can't crit. So this gear set does absolutely nothing to Alesia, which is, amazing thing number one. Okay? Amazing thing number two is there's two really prominent characters in the meta, which is Ashlyn, who's an absolutely amazing wood nuker, and also support, with her stuns. She has a 100% stun for 2 turns, or if you build her strong, like this poker rain ability just does so much damage. So this character can be built really fast. So Alesia is extremely good against this character specifically, who's been, kind of a problem in RTA. And then Mathasia. So Mathasia is a great pick in RTA whenever somebody is going with, maybe some water nukers, because she can just tank that up, make them weak hit a lot, and then revive the rest of your team. So Alesia makes such quick work out of Mathasia and Ashlyn. On top of that, she also takes out some other, I guess, maybe not as often played as Mathasia and Ashlyn, but other niche picks that are really good, like Jocasta is a great wood hero as well. And then in the epic slot, Baron is a killer as well. So being able to snipe some of those people is really good. On top of that, with her being extremely fast, it allows her to cut in sometimes on even, very, very fast light and dark characters. So there is, a couple like Garnet. Garnet usually goes first sometimes because she's got very fast speed and puts up those no positive effects. But Alesia, with her being so fast and only needing to prioritize attack and speed, where Garnet also needs to prioritize focus, so it's really hard to get her fast with high focus and enough to attack. It's just harder to build, right? So she can cut in front of her, and then she can even cut in front of Aubrey sometimes as well. So just a great fire unit. The other thing is in arena, like if somebody is putting up, some of those support buffs that they have mentioned, I'll show it here. She counterattacks with her special ability, which is that A2, right? So let's just do something like this, just so we can, let's just, yeah, let's do this. So I want to show her counterattacking. So Nero will be there to hopefully, finish this up. But if not, we lose. So I just want to show the counter. So whenever Windstrex goes, right? So you see how fast my Alesia is? She's even going before Windstrex. Okay, so let's just do some random attack on Nathalia here. Okay, so here's Windstrex, right? So she gives those bonuses, and there's the counterattack, and just 21,000 damage. Now, Windstrex is kind of a, wuss champion, but see the counterattack there. Nathalia put up those buffs, so she was going to counterattack as well there. So yeah, anytime your opponent is bringing, any kind of buffs to their team, they got to watch out for Alesia, because Alesia is just going to counterattack. So deadly there, right? So not only is she extremely fast and extremely strong, she can counterattack if you're trying to outspeed her or if you're trying to, um, make your champion stronger. When your opponent's trying to do that, she'll just counterattack for good. Um, okay, let's see here. Yeah, so here, right? These Mathasias, this one probably isn't as strong as I want her to be. But if we don't get stunned by Corrupt Orak, I'll be able to show how she does her double attack. Okay, so, all right, of course we stunned. Okay, so I'll just put immunity up here. I don't know if I can't remember who puts up buffs. Yeah, who puts up buffs on this team? Oh, yeah, so even healing, it counts as some kind of support. As you saw there, Alesia countered against Mathasia. Let's see here if I can bring back, of course, never bring back the character I want to bring back. Okay. Ooh. All right, well, we'll just finish this out. I want to show how Alesia ultimates, and then she can attack twice. It's pretty killer, even though she's a single target kind of nuker. She still she like snowballs, right? Similar to Andre. Yeah, so let's jump back in here. Hopefully we don't get unlucky with the stun again. Just so I can show this. And we'll take this out and bring in our own Mathasia so Urian doesn't spoil the fun. Okay, no stun that time. All right. So what you'll see here is we'll ultimate, we'll attack Mathasia. So if Mathasia doesn't die, it will then just bring in her special ability and attack her again. But if she one-shots her, remember she's going to do all of this damage, 220%, on top of the difference between her base attack and Mathasia's initial attack whenever the game started. And she's going to do 10% true damage, equal to Alesia's health. So here you go. Okay, so that's a pretty tanky Mathasia, and 15,000 damage. And as you can see, it was her passive because she put that shield on her, which was the special. I don't know the passive. I don't know why it says special. It's 100% the passive. Okay, so here we're just gonna finish this team off. But yeah, I mean, also she was healing there on her basic, which we talked about. Just a killer champion. She's so good that she can be kind of your only damage dealer. It's pretty nuts, but I will say there was one character in the game before Alesia came out, and she's still used. She was a seasonal hero, but I've completely replaced her with Alesia, and the seasonal hero is absolutely amazing. She's amazing, but just goes to show how good Alesia is. Girinal, yeah. So she was a seasonal hero, and she, you know, uh, ignores defense and all that stuff. I don't even have her geared. Like, I don't even use this hero anymore. That's how strong this character is. Um, yeah, what else can I talk about? I mean, other than that, some of the counters that I showed you. One other person that she's really strong against as well is another broken character right here. Holy Armor Virgil. He heals himself every time he's attacked, which is nuts. But because she has unhealable on her ultimate, it's kind of something that helps you defeat this guy who's extremely strong. And most times, people build him in Dragon Scale. And like we've talked about, Dragon Scale is completely useless against Alesia. So if you have Alesia, guys, 100% book that character out. You will not regret it. She's great against the entire meta, even against heroes that aren't green. Uh, she's just a menace. Granting her extra turns, so even on her basic, like if you don't have her ultimate, if you grant her an extra turn and she does this basic twice, they'll still get the charm. So you're controlling people, you're doing massive amounts of damage while also just caring about your speed and attack. So, hope you enjoyed. If you have Alesia, congratulations. Go destroy some people.